All right, let's get down to business now. Treasury says the recent budget cuts among government departments has had no major impact on service delivery at the local as well as provincial spheres of government. The government had to cut 85 billion rand mainly as a result of reduced revenue projections as well as lower than anticipated economic growth.
The persistent gap between revenue and expenditure, which forces the government to borrow at a rate of 200 billion rand a year, had also forced budget cuts. According to Treasury officials, these borrowings are adding to the gross national debt, which is now projected to reach 3.3 trillion rand by 2020-2021. More debt means more interest payments, which saps money from other priorities like housing and sanitation.
You know, despite all of these years of tight budgets and tax increases, we are still facing a very large debt to GDP stock of debt, and that stock of debt has to be repaid. And of course, although we think we're now on a sustainable path, the higher your stock of debt is, the more vulnerable you are to economic and financial shocks. And certainly, I mean, if we want to bring down our debt to GDP ratio over time, there are two ways you can do it. The one is that you have to go harder on the fiscal consolidation, or the other is that you have to grow the denominator. In other words, you need economic growth.
The Treasury cut budgets mainly on infrastructure grants, which include education infrastructure grant and school infrastructure backlog grants. Legislators expressed concerns due to major infrastructure backlogs in rural areas, meaning some of them still have pit toilets. The Treasury shared their concerns.
It is correct, as you were saying, ma'am, that it doesn't augur well when you see the dire state that infrastructure is in, and yet money is not able to flow and resolve that.
The Treasury says it will take these drastic steps in a bid to focus on closing the gap between the money coming in and going out. Manilisi Tubasa, SABC News, Parliament.
Meanwhile, the South African Federation of Trade Unions says that it is very disgusted by Parliament's passing of the National Minimum Wage Bill as well as amendments to the Labour Relations and Basic Conditions Employment Acts yesterday. The two bills paved the way to the introduction of a 20 rand per hour national